Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we are going to talk about the unorthodox strategies or tactics we use to come up with topics for our blog. Neil, what you got?
So I don't have a ton of strategies or anything like that. We just use one simple method. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, you got a BuzzSumo, you type in a keyword, you see how many visitors other competing blog articles are getting and use a skyscraper technique. Well, if something's popular on BuzzSumo and it's around the 10 ways to double your traffic, I wouldn't go and write 101 ways to double your traffic. Yes, that strategy works, but a lot of times it's played out and it doesn't work as well in competitive industries. What we found better to work, and this is my strategy for my own blog, I write about personal experiences. I look at what I've done, whether it's on my own sites or client sites because I have an agency, and I talk about the experiences. Because when someone reads my own stories, they know they can't get that content anywhere else, and it does extremely well. Funny enough, we record these podcasts in batches, but before we came here today, I was talking to someone on my Brazilian team, Grant, and we were breaking down the average comment on a post when I share stories versus when I just write generic tips like 10 more ways to get traffic from Twitter. The difference is over 12x. That's right, when I share personal stories, 12 times more comments. So that's my strategy with blogging, just only write about personal stories. And Eric, you have a blog, I know you have Singlegrain as well, but you also have Growth Everywhere. Mm-hmm. And you can't just take experiences from marketing because, you do more than just marketing. But in general, when it's a blog on a subject, let's say, that's not marketing, how do you tell stories? Because if you look at Growth Everywhere, it's purely about stories.
Yeah, Growth Everywhere is just literally interviewing people, and then you just kind of go from there. Literally, we don't have the headline ready. The headline doesn't come until after we finish the interview. And then from there, actually, that gives us a bunch of ideas for new topics that we can spin off into separate blog posts. But let's say I talked to Neil about his story, which actually Neil was on the Growth Everywhere podcast, and even his partner Heaton was on the podcast before too. They're partnered on different businesses, and yeah, you just learn why do you pay $30,000 for a piece of content, or why does Heaton look at partnerships as Batman and Robin? Sometimes there's something to learn everywhere, and you can just pull and then make it into separate spin-offs, right? That's one way of going about it. Storytelling is great. It's because it's your own experience, to Neil's point, and nobody else can duplicate that. One thing we do though at Singlegrain, or really I've done this with other content teams too, is you can actually you can go to your team, for example, and if you don't have a team, get a group of your friends that are really interested in whatever niche you're interested in, and just hey, everyone, I want you to come into the meeting with 3 to 5 ideas, or even 10 ideas or so, and then you share all the ideas, and then you just multiply by how many people in the room. It seems like it's lazy, but it's just a really good process, and it works.
And when you think about that process, because you're getting input and ideas from a lot of people around the room, it's better than just you having ideas yourself and going with whatever idea you have. The reason being is a blog is about what other people want to read and, of course, what you want to share. So if more minds are getting together and they're discussing a topic, they all agree that it's better, the chances are more readers will want to read it versus something that you're writing and you're not sure of if other people like it, but you yourself may love it.
Yeah, so I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
No, though, one last thing I have to add is let's say you're a food blogger. You can do this for any industry out there. You probably make recipes. You probably have created your own meals. You can end up talking about things like, hey, how to cook different foods when your children won't eat the same things, and how to cook it really efficiently. And I know that's not the best title or headline, and I'm not trying to create one that's more so of a topic. The point I'm trying to make is you can come up with unique stories for any industry. You just have to talk about what you've done in the space.
Yeah, the final thing I'll add actually from my side is there's this email copywriter. His name is Ben Settle, and I think he was the guy that came up with the concept of Seinfeld emails, right? So Seinfeld, I think I mentioned this before. I've actually never watched an episode of Seinfeld, I think, in my life. Maybe one. But my understanding is with Seinfeld, it actually doesn't really talk about anything. And literally one time I remember I had this really bad experience with American Airlines, and I wrote about how terrible the experience was, and like this is why this is why American Airlines is constantly rated low, and customer support is everything, and the customer experience is everything, and this is how it ties into whatever I was selling, and I actually got a couple of sales, right? So think about how you can take literally any story you have. There's a lot of people that send these emails every single day where they're just talking about what happened to them, and they eventually tie it back into whatever it is that they're offering, and it works out.
Cool. I have nothing else to add on my end.
All right, so before we go, help us make this podcast better. Please, please, please go to singlegrain.com/survey. It'll take 2 minutes of your life to make you much more money, and we'll see you tomorrow.